two sets of people. One who like EVs to look like EVs, futuristic, unlike we've ever seen in the automotive industry, and the other set which wants EVs to look like normal cars but electrified. Now Audi has always been on the other side, which means they want the cars or the EVs to look like regular cars, like this one. This is the Audi Q8 e-tron, and if you see, it has a normal grille like you would get in any other Audi, but there are quite a few subtle changes that Audi have brought in India for the first time, and that includes this new 2D logo with a light that is concealed inside this grille. So all that is lit up at night and it looks beautiful. It's like a spotlight on the Audi logo. Other than that, it's an EV. Still, you get a proper grille, but again, not like those EVs which don't even have a grille. I'm referring to Tesla and other vehicles that want to be distinctively EVs. But now let's look at the e-tron. E-tron Q8 is not to be compared with the petrol version of the Q8 or the RS Q8. It's completely not based on that. Yes, the moniker, the badging says Q8, but it is based on the Q5 platform. That's why you feel the dimensions are equal to a Q5 and not of the Q8. Now, why did Audi do that? That's something that Audi can answer, not us. But we're seeing something similar on the other side, the Mercedes side. If you look at the EQS, the rear seats are not like what you get on an S-Class. So there is a distinction between the electric S and the petrol S. Similarly, there is a distinction between the petrol Q8 and the e-tron Q8. Now let's talk about the styling. Well, the big change up front is, as already mentioned, is this 2D logo and this concealed lighting. Then you get this blacked out version of the e-tron. Usually, our cars in India, including every other car maker, is very chromish. This is all blacked out and it looks fantastic. If you look at it, these blacked out elements on the grille, this piano black on the bumper with the e-tron badging reminding you it's an electric vehicle. Of course, the green number plate in India tells you all, but again, e-tron branding all of the car to remind you it's an electric vehicle because it doesn't look like one. Now, you also get this sharp digital matrix light from Audi, which are fantastic, and they do their own show when you switch on or switch off the car. And this time is not too far when you could really configure the lights as per your liking. Honestly, Audi is working on a lot of tech in the lighting industry, especially automotive lights. We have seen Audi do a wonderful job, and I'm sure we'll see a lot coming. Now, the other thing is these air dams right here with piano black inserts look really nice and make it more aerodynamic. So that's what you get up front. Now, let's move to the side and see what's new on the Audi e-tron Q8. But before that, let me tell you, this is the regular e-tron Sportback and e-tron 55 that we used to get. It's just that Audi expanded their e-tron lineup and had to name it something. So there is now a Q8 e-tron, but it is what the original Audi e-tron was in the past. So as I mentioned, it is based on the Q5 platform, but still I feel it's one of the perfect size for city and highway driving. So when you have to maneuver around in the city, the Q5 size is kind of the perfect SUV size that you get in the market. So I'm glad the Q8 e-tron is based on that and not the actual Q7 or Q8. Now from the sides, you would remember this e-tron badging and this charging port which pops up by a press of a button. That remains the same. And the good thing is Audi provides it on both the sides of the car, which makes it very Audi and e-tron, because you're known that with an Audi e-tron you'll get charging ports on both sides. So that's something that has been in the DNA of e-tron cars. Now let's talk about the alloy wheel design. This is an aerodynamic alloy wheels to lower down the coefficient drag of the car, because that's what you want to achieve with an electric car, and they've done it fabulously here. And also you look at these 20-inch wheels, they fill up the dam really well and look really nice. But what's interesting is this is a logo which is center weighted. Like the Rolls-Royce, this is center weighted logo from Audi, and no matter how your wheel is moving, the logo will come back to its normal self. Let's take a step back and see what else is changed. Now you see these piano black inserts running across the running board of the car, which looks really nice and sporty. It's not like a plain black, there are steps to it and it looks fantastic. Also, other than that, the silhouette of the car remains absolutely the same. It, when lowered down, looks like an Avant version or the station wagon version, which is fantastic. and you can further lift up the suspension to make it even more SUV-ish. And also you get this car in two different body shapes. You get it in Sportback and the regular SUV. Well, while Audi has moved most of the things to the black side or the piano black side of the vehicle, there's still a lot of chrome elements, especially running across the window pane. But again, this is very subtle chrome, and also you get it over here on the roof rails. Another interesting factor is the badging on the pillars. You can see Q8 e-tron on the door pillars and Audi badging on the door pillar for the rear door. Now, because it's almost a 1.5 crore rupees car, you also get soft closing doors in this one. So you can see it automatically shuts itself, which is interesting. Now moving back, if you see, what I like is this rear quarter panel has a huge glass and adds to, the airability of the car, the design of the car, and also, as I mentioned, looks like an Avant version because of this huge chunk of the rear quarter panel and this sloping roof line over here. Now, if you are in a Sportback version of this car, taller people would find it a little difficult to sit inside because of the sloping roof. But other than that, the SUV body type is perfect for any height. Now let's move on to the rear design of the car and see what's new. Now from the rear also, it reminds you of the Q5 and the previous generation of e-tron. But what's different is the 2D logo at the back also. The Q8 badging, again blacked out, and of course the e-tron badging right here in the bumpers. You also get diffusers to lower down that coefficient drag. Well, other than that, it's distinctively Audi. The tail lamps say it all. You have that antenna that tells you it's an Audi. You have the spoiler with integrated light, your defogger, your wiper, everything is there. And also, press of a button, you get massive amount of boot space. And if this space doesn't feel enough for you, you can always lower down the seats with a press of a button and add more space. You also get space for space saver tires and toolkit at the back. Now that we've talked about the overall design and looks of the Audi e-tron Q8, let's move on in the inside and see what's new in the interior. So we are inside the Audi Q8 e-tron. Again, very much what you will get in an Audi. You get your virtual cockpit that has been there since the Audi TT days. Well, the TT is no more anymore, but still the legacy carries on. You also get your multimedia interface, the Audi MMI touch interface right here. And what has always been interesting about MMI is that haptic feedback you get when you click on things. So it's not like a regular touch screen where you just touch and things happen. You'll have to actually click the button and get user interface to be driven around. Now it's very well laid out. You get your home button, your radio, your music, your phone calls, your navigation. You have these widgets around. One thing that has always been lacking in an Audi interface, you get this lovely virtual interface of the maps on your speedometer and on your MMI, but you can't give voice instructions. So if I try to tell Audi to drive me to some place while driving, it won't let me type it. If I'm driving, it won't let me give voice commands. All you have to do is scribble on this touchpad right here to put in destination, which is a cumbersome process, and Audi really needs to take Indian market seriously and put in that voice navigation right here, where you can give voice commands and tell MMI to take you where you want to. Other than that, you get this control over here, which is again scribble pad plus all AC controls. You get your ventilated seat controls, you get your automatic climate control and other things which are important and touch friendly. So you have it all here. Below that is the drive select option, where you can drive select and you can change from efficiency, comfort, auto, dynamic, individual and other interface, and also raise the vehicle height as per your needs. You can also click on the button for traction control on and off. You have your turn indicators button here, the emergency button, and you have your AC controls. What I like about Audi is that it still gives you physical buttons for most of the things. So for your volume control and switching on and off the MMI, you have a button, and press of a button, you get access to that. So there are physical buttons to control all of that. Then you have a physical button to control your camera. Then there is a button for your parking. So it helps you auto park the car itself. And then there is a driver assist button that lets you switch on off Audi Presense, lane departure, speed warning and rest recommendation kind of things. Then of course there is a start stop button. But what's interesting is this gear lever right here. Now this might feel like the whole thing moves, but it's just this silver thing that moves up and down it actually feels like a cockpit of a plane where you can just move this, maneuver it and change the gears. So that's interesting because this little part here feels like you're in a fighter jet, and that changes the gear. To click on parking, there's a P button and it just puts you in P, which is very nicely placed. So if you're driving like that, press a button, it puts you on P without even looking at it. Then there is electric parking brake, and apart from that, there is whole place over here for the wireless charger, your 2 Type-C ports, and then there is 2 cup holders. You also get space in the center where you can place things. You get the Audi ashtray if you want, and all of that space is very well utilized. And if you look at it, the quality of interior is really nice to a certain level. When I say certain level, it's below the knees and you'll feel the plastics are really cheap. And I'm not kidding. Right after this armrest, which is kind of leather wrapped, the plastic below that are not of cars worth rupees 1.5 crores. So there are some cutting corners by Audi, but then that's all I can say, that if I have to nitpick, that's something that Audi could have worked on and improve the interior quality, which is below the knee level. But other than that, it's interestingly done. There's a lot of nice and bright ambient lighting. In fact, this e-tron badging right here, which reminds you of an e-tron and not a Q5 or a Q8, also lights up and changes color according to your ambient lighting, which is interesting. You get your panoramic sunroof control here, panoramic curtain, all of that is here, and touch LED lights. You also get your IRVM, which is really sleek and nice, and it looks like it's floating in the air. You have nice AC vents up here in the dashboard and on the sides. Then you have your really nice and chunky steering wheel with paddle shifters. Well, there are no paddle shifters here, they're region shifters, so you can change the car's region right from here. And also you get your buttons to control your cockpit, the virtual cockpit right from here. You can change different views between navigation, your music, your car's information, and all of that with the press of a button. And you can obviously click the view button and go full screen with whatever interface you like. And then you can control your volume again with a roller from the steering. So again, physical buttons to do things, which makes it much easier to do and like things. Now, talking about the seating comfort, you get Audi Presense, so it kind of sets your temperature when you get into the car, so it's already cold or heat as the way you like it. You have memory seats, so you have set 1, 2 on both the sides of the door, so your co-passenger, the passenger gets your Audi seating adjust. You also get your lumbar support, your massagers, your ventilated seats, all of it right here, and the controls are on the side of the seat. What I liked is just a press of a button and you can activate the massager. So you don't have to go into the interface to start the massager. Just between the lumbar support button, there is a square button. Click on that and the massager started. Yes, it did. So that's something very convenient. You don't have to go through menus to start the massager. Now, seating comfort is really nice, and I like the view right up here. And it's something that I like about Audi cars. The view is nice, it's pristine, and also the kind of cabin silence Audi does, it's magical. It's unbeatable, and that is the kind of sense you get when you sit in a Audi. It's like when you shut the door, you hear that door shut, and it's a different world inside. And that continues in this also. What you miss on a car which is 1.5 crore rupees is this. There's no heads-up display. Now, it's not a deal breaker for a lot of people. A lot of people don't even like having a heads-up display, but it could have been an option, so it's not in this one. Now, talking about the spaces on the sides, you have enough space for bottle holders and also some space right here in the glove box. That's about it. Now let's move to the rear seats and see how comfortable they are and what has changed on the rear. So now that we're seated inside the rear seats of the Audi Q8 e-tron, well, you can look at the space yourself. There is enough amount of headroom. You have enough amount of knee room because the seats are scooped in a bit, not much, but a bit, which adds to the space. You also get enough amount of thigh support, but that's the SUV body type. If you move on to the Sportback, this will come down further and might be a problem for taller people. You also get your armrest, which are equipped with your cup holders, and there's also space to keep your stuff here, which is soft, so you can keep your smartphone without worrying about scratching it or making it noisy in there or bounce around. You also get your own air conditioner for either seat, so there is 4-zone climate control in this car. So you have your own controls, you have your touch panel you can control from. What's nice is the vents are right in the center and also on the pillars. So there is vents here for your AC and here. You also get your own 2 USB Type-C ports and 12-watt charger. And because there's hardly any central tunnel or the car's floor is anyways higher because to accommodate battery space, the central tunnel doesn't feel that high. So even a third passenger can sit comfortably in this one. Obviously, the back is upright, but other than that, it's kind of not bad for smaller or shorter rides. But what's missing? Now let's talk about what's missing in this car. Yes, you get your Bang & Olufsen speaker set of 15 speakers, but it's a 1.5 crore rupees car, and this feels should have been automatic and not manual. So you have to manually put your curtains. Again, third world problems, complaining about small things, but this is something that people would expect out of a car that costs this much. But you get, again, a lot of space at the back. Also, you have your complete 1 liter bottle can be stored in the doors. You have hangers on here, and also you have hangers here. You have a hanger here. So a lot of space to hang things around here. You get your own comfortable headrest, which can be adjusted for either sides. In fact, all 3 passengers get adjustable headrest, and a lot of space at the back. I think the seats are inclined perfectly. You know, it doesn't feel upright, it doesn't feel sloping down, and I feel it's one of the most comfortable rear seats in the segment, and I really like it on all 4 seats. So it's really comfortable no matter which seat you are seated at, and feels nice. I also like this combination of tan, brown and black and silver interior. You also get different interior options that you can choose from. But my personal favorite is this tan color, which stands out and gives you that luxurious feel, and also runs through these door panels. Again, the ambient lighting is really nice over here, and I like this really sporty door handles with this chrome elements. Well, that's all about the interior of the car. Now let's move on to drive the car and feel the electric rush. So how does it feel to drive an Audi e-tron? Well, it just feels like an aeroplane. You know, you're just taxiing around and then you put maximum thrust to take off. It's similar in most of the electric cars, but the e-tron does 0 to 100 in 5.6 seconds. Yes, an electric SUV doing 0 to 100 in 5.6 seconds, and that's thanks to the 408 bhp of power that the 114 kilowatt hour battery pack provides. Now it also improves the efficiency, so now your e-tron Q8 can do 600 kilometers in one single charge as per company claims. Well, roughly you'll get around 400 kilometers or plus depending on how you drive the car. But I've been very happy with the car because I've been driving it for like almost 3 days now, and I'm still at 75% battery, and I've done Delhi Gurgaon, I have done Delhi Chanakyapuri in 1 day, and still it's 75%, and we have been shooting around also. So I'm really happy with what I've been able to achieve with this car in terms of battery backup is concerned, and also because it comes with fast charging, you can charge this car from 10 to 80% in 30 minutes with a fast charger, and if you're charging it at home, it'll take almost 8 to 12 hours. That depends on what kind of wall charger you have supplied. But the good thing is you get charging ports on either side. You have a frunk where you can keep your charging cables. So you open your bonnet and all the space that you have in the front can be used to put the charging cable like we have in our Audi Q8 e-tron. Well, I keep saying it over and over again, but it's kind of serene to drive an Audi around. It's kind of cancels everything that's happening on the outside. You are like in a theater of its own. You know, even if there's no music playing, people are honking around you, you're in your own world, and that pristine driving pleasure remains. And because it's an electric car, an e-tron, that is further enhanced because there's absolutely no engine noise, there are absolutely no crackles, nothing at all, and it's just floating on the highway right now. It's just too nice to drive. The handling feels perfect to the level that you feel that can it be further improved? Well, I don't know. Well, Audi engineers might figure out a way to improve it further, but then it feels really plush to drive around, really sharp around the corners, and the suspension is just chef's kiss, beautiful. And I think one of the most nice to drive SUVs, electric SUVs, is definitely what I feel is the Audi Q8 e-tron. Well, not as much of tech like you would have seen in other EVs from other manufacturers, not like those big huge screens and a lot of tech usage and a lot of features that you would expect. But again, then it has everything that you would want from an electric premium luxury SUV. You get your 360-degree cameras, you get your virtual cockpit. Yes, things can get better and things will improve in the future when Audi will overhaul their interior completely with the upcoming cars. But for now, I think it is understated luxury and remains to be the same. Well, I have been driving in sports mode and dynamic Audi Drive Select, but you can always change to comfort mode and you can play around with efficiency, comfort, auto and individual, and also you get all-road or an off-road mode. So that means you can put it on off-road mode and without worrying, take it for your next off-road adventure. Yes, you can actually take this car for an off-road adventure because you can lift the suspension and add that dynamism to the car, and it feels really good. In fact, while we were in Bangalore, I got a chance to do a bit of an off-roading, take through rough patches, and it was very comfortable doing that. Now imagine that doing a few years ago in an electric car. Well, that was not a possibility, but this car has made it possible. And I really like that, as I mentioned, that it feels so plush and nice to drive around. The cornering, everything is just on point. While it does get the quattro power, all wheel gets powered up when you need it, but when it's not powering the all four wheels, it's rear wheel drive, making one of the few lucky Audis to get that rear wheel drive feel. Apart from the supercar or the sports car Audi R8, this is one lucky car which gets rear wheel drive power in an Audi when you're not using the all four or the quattro drive, which is really interesting. And that's what you feel as soon as you press the pedal. Whether it doesn't matter which mode you are in, it just blasts off. Especially in the sports dynamic, is just beyond control. It's just really nice, and the rush you get is just crazy. While the new age electric cars would get ADAS level 1, level 2, the Audi lacks that. But you get your lane assist and you also get preventive braking when you're reversing or moving the car, and if the car spots something, it will apply preventive braking. But apart from that, it does miss out on ADAS. Now, how successful or how much people would love to use ADAS in India is a different story, but a car not to have at this level is also a miss, I feel. Now you do let us know in the comment section below, what do you think is a hit or a miss for the Audi Q8 e-tron? We think there are a lot of hits, a few misses which are negligible, but what do you feel is the miss or a hit in the Audi Q8 e-tron? And for more such videos, do not forget to like, subscribe and share with us. Thanks for watching the Unbiased Blog.